Hey, you're listening to Rogan Radio. Oh, my goodness. What a segment we are going to have, or a podcast we're going to have tonight.
Listen, what a segment we just had. If people don't listen to the 7 p.m. Sunday social hour, man, they need to.
That's what we're doing from now on. What we have two things going on. If you're listening to the podcast on SoundCloud, on Stitcher, on... I need to work on that iTunes.
Somebody said something about Spotify. Are we on Spotify too?
We're on Spotify. We're on Pandora. The one thing that we're not on is TuneIn Radio.
Game. We're not on our game.
What's our game?
Our game.
Ourgame.com.
Ourgame.com.
Man, you have me all flustered.
I got you
now.
flazzard. I got you flummogazzard.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
start
anyway,
over again.
We are in the studio. We have two things going on every week now. We have two different podcasts. We have the actual podcast, and then we also have the podcast, which is what we call the social hour that we do before we do this podcast. And the reason we started doing that is for the fact of, well, a lot of people don't have Facebook. A lot of people don't want Facebook. That's where we get involved with the, we kind of have like a touchy-feely kind of thing with some listeners. So we kind of touchy-feely with everybody, and so we do that. And we decided, because it turns out to be some pretty good content, that we're going to start publicizing those also. So we have two podcasts basically every single week.
Well, a lot of people don't. If they miss the live, they can go back and check it.
That's right.
Or if they're on the live, some people are on there. They say, I want to hear me, or they want to hear my name.
Yeah, correct. So we have you'll see like this week, like you did last week. This week will be episode 22. You'll have one. Episode 22, the social hour. Then you'll have episode 22, whatever this turns out to be. Whatever the
producer decides to edit and call this segment.
We have no control over that. Yeah. Whatever they decide to do when they edit all of this. During this episode, you're going to hear a mystery word. You're going to hear the quote of the week. We have some great stories about the cicadas that are coming back in town.
Yeah, and the cicadas too.
Cicadas, John Cicada. It's John Cicada.
John Cena.
They're all coming back into town. It's pretty amazing that Lumberport, West Virginia, is so big. It's absolutely brilliant to me, and that's only because of Rogan Radio.
It's only because of you, baby.
You can check
us out.
Brought this. If you're listening to us or watching us,
we have nothing to do with this.
If you're watching us on YouTube, then make sure you check out the podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, or SoundCloud. SoundCloud and iTunes, once again, the absolute best ever. And I saw a little study the other day talking about podcasting, because a lot of people don't really understand what podcasting is. What we do, and if you're listening to this, you know this already. You probably listen to 4, 5, 6 different podcasts anyhow. Podcasting is basically the convenience of having a morning radio show.
Yeah.
Whenever you want to listen to it.
But it could be morning, afternoon, or night.
Keep going.
Is that
we have sliding. We're having some technical difficulties.
We have a
with
real
our boom.
problem. Todd has a real problem with his boom mic, and he's the only
one. He plays
one.
with it too much.
I don't never play with this thing. Only when it's sliding off the damn table.
We need.
We'll fix that between
we'll
segments.
Anyway. But anyhow, we have a great response in this last podcast that we had, episode 21, which was about JFK and St. Patty's Day. Which, listen, we are really going to have to get back into that JFK topic one day, because that is some bizarre stuff.
It's cool stuff.
Listen, it's stuff to make you think, because there's a lot of crazy things about the assassination of JFK. For one, we're not going to talk about it all night, but we'll do this in a future episode. Tell us a little bit about Jack Ruby. Now, Jack Ruby.
If you don't know who Jack Ruby is, Jack Ruby's the man that killed Lee Harvey Oswald. You know,
right.
Okay, but a lot of people, then you go like this, well, who's Jack Ruby? And how many people know anything about him? Probably maybe what most people might know is that Jack Ruby had a bar. He was co-owner of a bar there in Dallas.
Was it Dallas? Okay, for whatever reason, I thought it was Louisiana.
That's probably the only thing they really do know. Texas. But they don't know, what they don't know is that Jack Ruby was, he had a lot of mob connections. He worked for Capone in the 20s.
Did he?
Yeah, Jack Ruby was born in 1911, so he'd been around for a while at this point.
Right.
He worked for Al Capone in the 20s.
That's pretty cool.
So he had connections with the mob, and a lot of things, or something that a lot of people also don't know, is that Jack Ruby worked for the CIA.
Wow. Now, see, I've never
Jack
heard
Ruby
that.
worked for the CIA. Jack Ruby was a gun runner for help me out here.
with the
Castro, right?
Well, what
Really?
was it when the because they had the Bay of Pigs with that Kennedy had down there in Cuba.
Yeah,
and then,
no,
and then they had the rebels that were trying to stop communism in
Right,
Cuba.
yeah.
So he was running.
he was running guns for Castro. In conjunction with the CIA, he was working with them.
So he was working with both of them. He was working with the rebels to overtake.
Well, now he was working with Castro until Castro became a communist.
Oh,
Okay, and then when Castro became a communist,
Then he switched.
started. Then
How
he
about
switched
that?
and started working for the anti-Castro.
And then he's the one that killed the boy. There's a lot of boy.
That's crazy.
This is going to be a complete episode. I can see that coming up. So we'll talk about that in future episodes because that is one of those things, sort of like the moon landing. This is something about the moon landing. You know, a lot of people think that we're crazy talking about stuff like this, but this is one thing. You can see the footprints of the astronauts all over. Like you could see NASA released photographs of footprints near the rover or the lunar module
Right.
on the surface of the moon. You can see the tread, like they just stepped in some nice.
Nice little soft sand, like the kind of at the beach.
What's one thing you don't see?
Oh, you don't see what? You don't see trees.
No, what you don't see.
You don't.
Flagpole dragon.
What you don't see is the blast when that thing came down. It had to have some kind of like a retro rock at the bottom of it, right?
Or if not, it was just slammed into the moon. So you're right.
So where's the big kind of a crater to push all that stuff away? There is nothing. It's perfectly solid.
Oh, maybe
weird,
they had
man.
a parachute.
They had a parachute.
know.
But you know what?
No parachute.
Have we been to the moon or not? You know what? Hey, listen. My theory is that they were in a space race with the Soviets at the time for public opinion. Everybody, you look what happened when they announced that we landed on the moon. The world was crazy. The United States was king. It would have been a lot easier to make that stuff.
Than to actually do it.
You would think.
Well, they had to beat the Russians, so
Yeah.
Hollywood.
I mean,
will fix it.
think about it. There's more technology in this freaking smartphone than there was.
Oh my
back
goodness!
then.
And a calculator. What
You know what I mean?
I've always heard there's in a solar powered calculator. There's more brain power than there was in the
crazy.
lunar module. And that's kind of scary to think. So we're going to do that. Once again, we want to thank everybody for the great time we had last night at the Sagebrush on Bunner's Ridge in Fairmont, West Virginia. This is one of those cool places. It's just an absolute joy to go to.
And no one knows it's there.
It's a hidden treasure. It's one of those things known as a hidden treasure. Every Saturday night down in Nashville, you have a thing called the Opry. I mean, down at the Grand Ole Opry, they do this country music thing, and they've been doing it since Christ left Pittsburgh. They've been doing it forever. Now, on the second longest running show on radio is from WWVA, also, or in West Virginia, I should say, up in Wheeling, and it was called the Wheeling Jamboree. Now, they've had different names. I think that name was changed to Wheeling Jamboree in 2009 or whatever. But the likes of Brad Paisley and Kathy Mattea and all the big stars, Hank Williams, they've all went through there. I think Jimmy Dickens at one time was part of the staff up there. And number 3 would be the Sagebrush Roundup. Now, the Sagebrush Roundup, it was originally a thing here in around Fairmont. They did a live broadcast on MMN, which is 920 on your AM dial. Then right around 58 or something like that, there's like they quit doing it. They just quit doing Saturday nights because of things that were happening. But man, that would be fantastic to get that thing back on the air live every Saturday night. Just to get local people up there to sing, because that's all the Grand Ole
Something to do in
Opry.
the area. There's not that much to do around here.
The Grand Ole Opry started out like that, and then you had the Wheeling Jamboree and all that. But all those people they started out as nobodies and they became somebodies. And you know what? That's like one of those kind of halls. The West Virginia Country Music Hall of Fame is up at Sagebrush. Never knew that. Never knew that. That was
This
pretty.
is like a little hidden gem up there.
Yeah, very
Sagebrush.
interesting. So we have all that. Plus, once again, we want to make sure that you give us a text or you give us a voicemail at 681-222-ROGN. That ROGN is translated on your phone to 7646. You can go ahead and do that anytime you wish, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. No one's even going to answer you unless you text us because we don't like to answer phone calls.
No, we will not. Answer phone calls.
681-222-ROGN, and be sure to listen to us. Tell your friends, tell your neighbors, tell everyone you're listening to Rogan Radio. Hey, you're back with Rogan Radio here in the studio with Jimmy Wisniewski and Todd Beck. And listen, this is fantastic. We're big fans of sci-fi. We love sci-fi. We love movies. We love all that stuff. Hey, listen, they're talking about this might be pretty interesting.
This is exciting for me.
Well, first of all, they were introducing, or we watched. Was it last year, 2 years ago? They had a Battlestar Galactica, like a remake, like a new series on Sci-Fi Channel.
Yeah.
Listen, that turned out to be actually pretty good.
It was really good.
Oh yeah.
They're talking about now actually making a movie for that. I'm very excited for a Battlestar Galactica movie.
I'm a Battlestar Galactica nerd from when I was a kid.
Galactica.
Yeah, from when I was a child, man. The old original Cylons.
Now, here's one thing that I'm not excited about. I'm not really necessarily excited about a new Indiana Jones movie coming out in 2019.
And tell everybody why you're not excited about
Well,
that.
the fact of it is that they have said Disney owns the franchise now from Lucas, and they said that there's not going to be any other Indiana Jones but Harrison Ford. And when this movie comes out, Harrison Ford's going to be 70 years old.
70, or is it older than that?
70.
I thought he was already in his 70s.
No, I think they said, or
Maybe he sounds like
the article,
60s.
what it could be. But the fact of the matter is that Indiana Jones is one of those characters that he likes to go out and he likes to punch people. He likes to swing on, whips and stuff like that over And I'm thinking, my goodness, he's 73 now.
Harrison, he said, and this is coming out in what, 2019? Is that what they said for the new Indiana Jones?
Yeah, this article's wrong then.
For 2019, and it's 2016, that dude's going to be
how old was he?
75 years old.
You can't be planning things when you're that old.
This article's wrong. Yeah, this article's way
you
wrong.
might be
then.
dead tomorrow.
My goodness, how,
or in the middle of filming.
What I was hoping for is he was going to play like a Sean Connery role and be like,
yeah.
Now
well, that's where he needs to be. Chuck.
This is the problem is that they did the thing with Grayskull. And Grayskull,
the Crystal Skulls,
Crystal Skull.
Well, they already had his son on there, which was Shia
Wiki.
Yeah.
Well, can you see that guy being the new Indiana? I'll tell you who I thought they said was going to be the new Indiana Jones, and that's that guy from Guardians of the Galaxy. What Chris Pratt or Pine? No, it's not Pine. No, it's Pratt. Pine did the Star Trek. Yeah.
No, yeah.
He would make a great Indiana Jones.
Yeah, Chris Pine would too.
Well, either one of them would, but not Indiana Jones.
My goodness, Harrison Ford, I love the guy. He doesn't make a bad movie, but when you're talking about a 75-year-old Indiana Jones, seriously, that's going to ruin the franchise.
Yeah. Listen, did you watch the latest one? Well, it's 5 years old now.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about with the Crystal Skull.
Horrible.
Well, you know what? I don't want to say it's horrible.
I didn't think it was that
I
bad.
thought it was bad.
Why didn't you like? Was it Indiana Jones? Was it Harrison Ford?
No,
or
it was
was
a combination
of the writing of it.
No, it was a combination of his age. He's just really showing his age, and plus the whole sci-fi thing. I like sci-fi, but Indiana Jones is not that world. That guy needs to be digging up artifacts, not space aliens.
But there's sort of a relation there when you're talking about artifacts and you're talking about pyramids and things. You are sort of talking about what could be what came before. I guess.
Yeah.
Or what? Maybe it was a
when
CG.
you look at the original trilogy too, though, the two most popular were the Lost Ark in The Last Crusade.
Yeah.
Which,
right.
The Temple of Doom wasn't as popular because, and I think that had to do with everybody knows the significance of like the religious artifacts.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
The Ark of the Covenant and and the Holy Grail.
Yeah.
The Lost Ark and The Last Crusades, it's hard to beat those movies. Those movies were fantastic. I mean, absolutely fantastic.
Temple of Doom, on the other hand?
The Temple of Doom was almost like a parody of an Indiana Jones movie, and it's only its second movie.
The only other way I could see this playing out, which would be kind of cool, is if they did something. They wanted to show his earlier adventures, the other things he got, where they would show, say, Harrison Ford and him, thinking back to when he was younger and having somebody that was younger playing him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Or something like that.
Yeah, or he could do like he did in Indiana Jones or in The Last Crusade and just fill that Sean Connery spot with his son You know what I mean?
The only thing that I think sucks about that is because they already picked someone that was his son, and then if you don't use that him, then it's
they'll
gonna
be
look- you
See,
know what
that's
I mean?
about that. I
and,
guess so.
and probably because they weren't planning on making this movie, and that's the bad part about it is from a business standpoint is that you have Indiana Jones. Indiana Jones is just as popular as Star Wars.
Yeah.
Is that you could make movies if honestly you could make Indiana Jones movies just as long as you could a Star Wars movie.
Yeah.
I mean they're iconic. They're just absolutely iconic.
So you're saying you can keep making these even without a Harrison
But
Ford?
no, I don't think so, because I think the thing is with Star Wars, it's based on a whole slew of characters. Indiana Jones is based off of one character.
See that's
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But see, they had to transition, and that's what I liked about where they went in The Last Crusade is because you had Sean Connery there, who was Indiana Jones before Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, so then it would be perfect sense during at some point to do the exact same thing, to pass that on just to keep the franchise going, because you know how some of these movies, RoboCop or Judge Dredd, I absolutely love the remake more than I do the actual real movie. You know what I mean? I like what they've done afterwards. You know, RoboCop. That was the dumbest damn movie I've ever seen.
It was, and you know what?
I liked it though.
That's
The
what I'm saying. I
original
don't-
classic.
The original.
Oh my God! It hurts my head to watch that freaking movie. It's horrible. And then the ones that came after that, 2, 3, 4, 9, and 11, and 13, they're stupid.
But then they came out with this new one. I was like, wow, no,
Great
I really
movie.
like that movie.
The new
I like
RoboCop was pretty
Yeah,
cool.
I really like that movie. The same way with Judge Dredd. When,
Judge Dredd, super good.
That first Judge Dredd movie to me was just, I couldn't watch it. It was just like, you've got to be kidding me. This is dumb as
You
hell.
just don't like Stallone. I
Yeah,
know.
maybe you don't.
I love Stallone,
Yeah.
especially in Rambo.
You don't like me. That's not very good.
No.
Oh, you're talking about.
Yo,
But-
Adrian.
So we're going to see how this turns out. I would much rather see Harrison. I would much rather see the franchise continue with somebody else, somebody young, somebody fresh, like a Pike or a Pine or whatever the hell his name is.
Hey, listen. Here's
somebody
a
cool.
Here's a crazy idea. Why don't they come up with an original idea and just make a whole new movie? Why
Well-
they got to keep? They don't have anything else. They got to keep feeding off everything they've already done.
Now listen, this is what's crazy. I mean, when did the Marvel thing happen? And then now it's all superhero movies.
Yeah.
It's all Star Wars. Now it's going to be Indiana Jones stuff. Now how about this? How about they're making a remake of Ben-Hur? Now the original Ben-Hur was I think in 1924. And
Oh no.
No, absolutely.
Listen, The Wizard of
Charlton
Oz
Heston
came out in
was in it.
38.
Yeah, the original Ben-Hur was in 24. Then the next Ben-Hur was in 59, I think, with
Was that
Charlton Heston.
Yeah.
Check it out. And then now they're coming out with a new one, but it's 2 CGI. The cool thing about those old movies when you had like the Cleopatra flicks or the Ben-Hurs or the
Yeah,
Spartacus.
1925.
Okay, I was pretty close.
Yeah, you were. I'm so sorry.
Wow.
Well, wait a minute. Look at this Ben-Hur film, 1959.
That was
Yeah,
the
that's
second
the one
one.
with Charlton Heston.
Yeah,
Okay,
that was the second.
okay.
What was so cool about those 1950s movies, even on a scale of like Indian and Cowboys movies, they were on the sets. I mean, they were big. I mean, they were massive. You watch a Cleopatra or you watch a like a Ben-Hur or you watch a Spartacus, they're on a massive scale and it's real.
Yeah, it's all
Yeah,
practical.
yeah.
You don't have these special effects like they do
I
now.
watched the trailer to this new Ben-Hur flick, and it's just like all CGI computer stuff, which is pretty cool, I guess. But it's not, I would much rather watch Charlton Heston in Ben-Hur, or like watch a Moses or the Ten Commandments, I think it was.
Yeah.
Fantastic movie.
Listen, just an example, the 59, the Charlton Heston Ben-Hur, over 200 camels, 2,500 horses, 10,000 extras. Listen, all they have to do now is just go,
add 'em in.
put a
That's
horse
what-
here, put a horse here, put a horse
No, wait a
here.
minute. That's what they used in that thing to make that movie?
Yeah, more than 200 camels, 2,500 horses.
Wow.
We're using the shooting of the film with some 10,000 extras.
10,000.
That's a lot.
extras.
And what even amazes me of that is that
Wow.
was before the internet and all kinds of things. So to get 10,000 people, you know what I mean? They really had to branch out, go out and kind of search for these people.
Yeah,
You know
and
what I
that's
mean?
what makes it so real. That's why people love that stuff. Like
Yeah.
me, I love watching those movies more than I do. I mean, I love like the Lord of the Rings flicks when they have all these massive army battles and stuff. But you can tell they're not real. I mean, you can't have 20,000 or 30,000 warriors dressed up in these crazy costumes. You can't have that. But man, I tell you what, I'm going to have to go back and watch that.
This thing, it won 11 Academy Awards: Best Picture, Best Director,
Listen, Charlton
Best
Heston,
Actor in a leading
before,
role. That was
you know.
Charlton Heston.
I think, yeah, but that was when they actually voted for the good movies. Now it seems like the only ones that win awards and things like that are the ones that are trying to be, make a political statement.
Absolutely.
It's not really
And
the
you know what
ones
makes-
that are good.
And you know what makes me mad, Jimmy, is they don't nominate enough black people.
Like
That's
Will
right.
Smith.
That's the problem.
I
They
can't
don't
believe Will
act-
Smith
they
said
do
that.
not act. They do not. That's a shame. That's racist.
Well, I mean, the fact of it is that a movie is all about entertainment. It shouldn't matter if you're white or black or
Purple
Chinese or
It shouldn't.
Martian or
But
from
you know
Uranus.
what? You
It
gotta
really shouldn't matter.
If you don't have 5 blacks and 5 whites and 5,
No.
then you're racist. Oh, give me a break.
But the thing with who was the not Michael Kurt Douglas? He was another great one.
Yeah.
Kurt Douglas. Those movies right there are just fantastic. The Man with No you get the Man with No Name Clint Eastwood flicks, like with the spaghetti westerns. You cannot beat those things.
Yeah. Hey, what was that movie that was? I think it was back in the '80s that came out with Kirk Douglas and the other old dude, where, they were in jail for like a long time, and when they came out of jail, they couldn't hack it, so they ended up going back to something that was way back in the day. They used to rob
man,
trains.
yeah.
Remember they robbed the train till it was like classic to them. It was
Oh, what was that? Kind of go old school. 'Cause
How
they-
old? What are you talking about? Old school? You talking about
like
70s?
80s.
Yeah, well, the movie was in
pretty
the '80s, but they got out of jail and
they reverted back to how they were back in like
Yeah,
the
they were-
50s or something, where they
yeah,
rob
they-
a train.
they
Man,
were
I
used to robbing trains and stuff like that and robbing banks. Nobody robbed banks or robbed trains when they got out of prison.
anymore. Yeah.
I have no idea.
That's funny.
I'm looking, but I have no idea.
But the grand scale of movies, like what was another one? What was one with not Humphrey Bogart?
Casablanca.
No, Gone with the Wind.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, was that Gary Cooper? Did he do?
No,
Gone
that was shoot, man.
Clark
Oh, come on.
See, you should tell me this stuff before we get.
Well,
going
we
here.
just started talking about these major when Hollywood was Hollywood.
Humphrey Bogart.
Not Humphrey Bogart. Gone with it was what's his name? He's in all the Flintstone movies. They have a parody of him.
He's on
Clark
it.
Gable.
Clark Gable.
Clark Gable.
And Vivian Leigh.
He had that cool mustache. That guy he had a cool mustache. He had a cool hairdo. That was a movie star. Kurt Douglas, movie star.
Yep.
Yeah.
Douglas. What's it? Kurt Douglas.
Yeah.
Kirk Douglas.
Michael's
yeah.
the son.
Michael Douglas.
Both of them studs.
Oh, there.
Movie stars. That's movies. That's Hollywood. The stuff now, it's just it's nothing.
It's
But so we're going to see, and we saw a preview of the Gods of Egypt.
Yeah.
I tried to watch that. I couldn't do it though.
Well,
Really?
he tried to watch it, and the quality was horrible.
Yeah,
or
the
something.
quality.
Oh well, that's
But
the thing.
those kind of movies are the ones I like. The grand scale of like old, like it's like say Rome and Egypt and things like that.
Yeah, I like Egyptian movies.
Oh my goodness, fantastic. But be looking for that. We're going to give you details at some point when it becomes closer to us. If you ever have a chance to watch the 1959 version of Ben-Hur, I think the thing's like 3 hours long.
yeah.
But when they're in the boats and they're ramming speed and they're on the chariots and stuff like that, I mean, the massive scale of what it took to make that movie is just incredible, because you know what, they don't do that these days. And it probably cost 10 times more to make a movie these days with the computers than it did back in the day with real people.
Ben-Hur ran for 212 minutes. You know what the budget was on that movie? This is 1959.
59.
$15.2 million.
Wow, back then
That's
that
what
was
it
like
said.
100 million movie.
Yeah, I know. I looked it up on
Look and see. What would
Wikipedia.
what would be 15 million? What was it in 59?
15 million. You know what that thing made at the box office in 59? $146.9 million.
Wow.
Boom!
That's a lot of money.
$115.2 million in today's dollars.
He was probably like back in the day too. They all the actors were under budget for the particular studio. You didn't make, like, say if you didn't make a movie for Paramount, then you didn't go to Fox or wherever. You were hired by that studio.
Mm-hmm.
Man, you know what? Like, I wonder who John Wayne. I mean, like some of those John Wayne movies, how much that guy made.
Gosh, yeah.
Wow, that's fantastic. We're going to find out here. Let's see what that would be. 15 million in 1959 would be $122 million today.
$122 million a
I
day, total of 718.
But you know what? If they would spend, but you think about it. Here's the thing. Here's the thing that amazes me. That's not. I mean, that's a lot of money, but that's not what blockbusters cost. I mean, you're looking at Star Wars, what, 150, something like that. Say you look at Episode 7, and Episode 7 was 150. Okay, that's 30 million more dollars. I'll give you that, but it's not even it's not even close to the scale of what a Ben-Hur was.
Yeah.
If that Ben-Hur brought in 146 million in the box office today, that'd be 1.2 billion dollars.
Damn.
That thing, in 1950, that was a wow.
You kidding me, man? You kidding me?
Oh my goodness!
I tell you what, if you ever have a chance to watch that
Solve
movie,
world
Spartacus or Ben-Hur or Cleopatra or Moses, was it Moses or Ten Commandments? Or was it Moses? Because Kirk Douglas was the king of all them things.
Yeah, him and Charlton Heston too did a lot.
Or
of
I mean
stuff.
Charlton Heston.
Yeah.
I can't tell them apart. I mean, what Kirk Douglas has the dimple in his chin, right?
Yeah. Yeah, he does.
That's the only one I think
Yeah.
of. All right, listen, check it out. In the meantime, you know what? Check us out on. Make sure you tell your friends and family and friends and neighbors.
Your
and
family, yeah.
send us a text on Facebook. We're going to have the next episode or next segment. We're going to have the quote of the week. We're also going to give you perhaps the mystery word. Was that we're
Mystery
looking at?
word.
Was that
Moses. Yeah,
Okay, so there
Charlton
was
Heston
Moses.
also did Moses.
How about the Ten Commandments? I guarantee that was changed. That was.
Mystery word.
I guarantee that was Charlton Heston too.
I think we'll do some stupid criminals too.
We're going to do
real
some
quick.
stupid criminals, and we also have some crazy stories too about if you've got a new bank card or a new credit card that has the little like microchip in it.
Yeah.
You might want to worry about that because the lazy of society, the ones that want to hack things, well, they've already figured out how to do that.
And then we're going to talk about how they're hacking your car.
And your cars now.
Yes.
If your cars are connected through Wi-Fi, look out because you might be. They've turned off cars 10, 15 miles away using the internet. It's absolutely amazing.
OnStar can do that right now, but somebody from their home computer can't.
Yeah, that's a little crazy.
But they can now.
They can now. You're listening to Rogan Radio. Hey, we're back on Rogan Radio, and as we do every single podcast, we have a quote of the week.
Yes, we do have a quote of the week and a quote
And
of the
this
week.
week, Captain Earl once again responding to a quote of the week. This being brought to you by the last four digits of 1114.
So if you're 1114, you know who you are. We don't, but you do. The quote of the week is this: ashes to ashes, dust to dust, life is a bitch and beer is a must.
Boo!
Thank you very much,
Love that
caller
one. I love that.
1114.
Absolutely love that one.
Thank you very much.
Great. That's fantastic. Now, some really strange news before we get to the mystery word for this podcast. Some really strange news are how stupid people can be. And Jimmy, you know what? You've been doing some research on how dumb people can be. Give us some examples of how dumb. You know, I should have pulled something up here for some kind of stupid criminal music or something like that. But people can be pretty stupid in what they do in their daily lives.
All right. So
That was the fakest laugh I
Because
swear to
I'm
God
just-
I've ever heard.
I'm just laughing at how stupid people can be. Okay. So, I happen to be reading through some of these, and I'm just amazed at how, I'm just amazed at how stupid they are. That's all
right.
you can really say. So I'm reading this one here. The guy's name is Christopher Wallace, which I'm sure some of you rap fans out there may know is the same name as Notorious B.I.G.
Oh, I do know
Biggie
that guy.
Smalls?
I don't know. I do not know
Big.
B.I.G.
So anyway, but of course this isn't him. He's not this stupid, but
Chuck's ass is B.I.G.
so anyway, yeah. So Wallace, he's the similarities end with as far as the name goes.
Right.
But anyway, he's a 22-year-old that was arrested in March while Snapchatting his whereabouts. He was currently hiding in a cupboard from the police who were searching.
In a cupboard?
Yeah, in a cupboard.
Like a kitchen cupboard?
kitchen cabinet.
What a dumbass.
Yeah, and
Stupid
the
crook.
police were searching his home at the time. So that was actually his second incriminating post to the platform. His first was kind enough to inform the police that he was at home in the first place.
So they were looking for him, and
So-
they were like, okay, look, I'm going to make a Snapchat.
So he gets his first post is, "Hey, I'm at my house." The police show
Oh,
up,
my
and then he's in
goodness,
the
dude.
cupboard, and he posts a Snapchat that he's in his cupboard.
The cops are here, and I'm hiding in the cupboard.
Yeah,
Snapchat.
he's doing a little video.
Now, here's the funny thing about it. When we're talking about Snapchat, he had to be friends with one of the cops, or they'd never seen it, right?
Or
I
somebody
guess,
called
I
in and
don't
said,
know.
listen, I'm getting this guy Snapchats, and I'm telling you
Too
what, you're
funny.
standing right beside him.
Give me another
So
stupid.
we got this Renault, I guess he goes by Junior Placer?
Everybody,
I'm not sure how his
listen.
name is.
If your name's not Junior and you're in trouble with the cops, I'm kind of ashamed to even know you.
So this guy broke into John Terrell's New Hampshire home with the intent of robbing it. At some point, he found the refrigerator, which held some leftover chicken wings. He ate those and then promptly fell asleep in the guest bedroom, where he was discovered and detained by Terrell until the police arrived.
He was tired, man. You eat them chicken wings, buddy, you're gonna get tired.
They would have found me on the toilet. Them chicken wings tear me up. I'd have been pooping.
Wow.
Yeah, okay.
Well, I mean, have you ever ran into somebody? I mean, I know I go into food coma every now and then when I eat too many chicken wings. Normally, it's about 30 of them, and I'm gonna get to sleep. Listen, I'm gonna get to sleep right now.
So we'll do one more here. This,
Yeah, let's
Levi Charles Reardon, wanted for theft and forgery, was so taken with his wanted poster on the Great Falls Cascade County Crime Stoppers Facebook page that he liked it. He was arrested a few weeks later.
No, wait a minute. You're telling me that guy, he actually saw his picture on the
Crime Stoppers wanted page.
and he actually liked it.
yeah.
And they're like, whoa.
So I guess they were like, oh, he has a Facebook, and let's find out where he's at.
Oh, my goodness. you
Social
gotta be
media
kidding
will
me.
get your ass busted.
Funny, huh?
So be careful.
How
We'll do more of these.
funny
Maybe
is
we
that?
could do these. Like
We could
every
do this
week.
all
We
the
could do
time.
a couple stupid.
That's because there's a
idiots.
lot of stupid
Yeah,
crooks.
Listen,
exactly.
crime doesn't pay. But these guys are, oh, my goodness, that
But
is
thank
too
God
funny.
for Snapchat.
Exactly.
And I tell you what, Albert Einstein, he had a good quote. It said, "Dumb criminals will always be dumb." He didn't make that up. I just made that up. But he also said, something to the effect that we will be imprisoned by our own technology, meaning that as we get more advanced, we become imprisoned by that same technology. You can see it with cell phones now. You know, you get cell phones and all of a sudden you lose perspective of where you're at and all your surroundings, and all you do is pay attention to your cell phones. Well, now with cars, quite amazingly, they have like Wi-Fi and stuff. You can get updates for firmware for your car all over. I mean, it's just all over the internet and things like that. And now it's getting kind of scary because somebody has figured out how to hack all that.
Yeah, listen, if you're not already worried about your car being hacked, you really should be. Who says this? The U.S. government says this.
Whoa, the feds?
They never tell you anything.
No, they don't. You know that for a fact, firsthand. Connected cars are becoming increasingly vulnerable to cyber attack, according to an advisory issued Thursday by who, Jim? The FBI and the U.S. National Highway Traffic Association.
Ooh.
There's just they are just two of the latest organizations to voice their concern about software vulnerabilities in cars, which first came to light in 2013. These concerns are not unfounded. New cars go on sale, and they're increasingly connected to the internet. You know that, right?
Yeah.
You got the mobile devices, which features such as being able to use your phone to remotely start your car or to get your engine diagnostic.
Yeah.
These features are meant to add convenience for the driver.
Sure.
But they also give hackers more opportunities to take control of your vehicle. That's scary.
Listen, I saw a video where somebody, I'm not sure who it did, they had a Jeep. And they had this Jeep like 10 miles, 15 miles away from wherever they were. And they used like a Wi-Fi signal or a cell phone signal, however these things are hooked up. And they actually locked the doors. Mm-hmm. Then they turned the Jeep on. Then they turned the Jeep off just by using their computer.
Yeah, listen, last year, Fiat Chrysler was forced to recall 1.4 million cars when it was discovered that their remote controls could be hacked into. The remotes for the car could be hacked into. Yeah. In the last few months, General Motors and BMW have issued security updates for some of the cars. So, at least some of these manufacturers are starting to, they're catching on.
Well, I think the big thing is now, just like with computers, like every now and then you'll get updates for your phone or your computer or whatever from Microsoft. Listen, and when you have firmware, and this is what I don't know about car manufacturers now. If they have all these firmware updates, and if you can have Wi-Fi access and all this internet access, so if a hacker can get into it, how do they update? Do you have to go to the dealership to update your firmware every single time when they have like a new update for the firmware, or does it come over to like your 3G or your 4G at your house, and that's how it picks it up?
I don't know.
I mean, how does your car pick it up?
Yeah. You would think Nissan suspend. They have a thing called Nissan Connect. It's a smartphone app, and there's some serious hacking concerns over that. And the U.S. House Committee aims to make car hacking illegal. So listen, if you're doing it now, maybe you better not do it. No, it's true. The U.S. House.
Well, I got an
Committee.
app on my phone. I could turn my car on too with mine.
That's what I mean. It's kind of bizarre like that because all I need is going to be your password, right?
Yeah,
I guess you said.
So if I have your phone,
just like anything.
you know, isn't it kind of weird that they make it illegal? Ooh. Like they make drugs illegal. Ooh.
People still do them.
Yeah, I know.
You know what? There's another thing I saw about the new debit cards or credit cards that are coming out.
Yeah, that's what I was just looking at here. If you got the new credit cards that actually have the chip in it.
Right.
Yeah,
See,
and
I just got one of those things.
Yeah, I just
and
got
they're
my debit card
replacing all of them.
updated.
Yeah, my debit card's the same thing, and then you have to slide it up under there. Well, that's the same chip that, is in a lot of your cards to gain entry into places. Like if any of you work at a place that has like the automatic lock doors now where you go up and you just put your badge up close to it, and it unlocks the door. Well, it's the same kind of technology. It's in your new credit cards. And, well, now I guess they've got people actually have a scanner that they could put in, like conceal it, like in a purse or something. And all they have to do is go within a few feet of you, basically. And it, registers just like you're going to a door lock, and it takes that information from your card.
Yeah, and that would be super easy to do, like we talked earlier, like in a lot of these little cafes, where people sit down with their computers and shit like that. So now, and if they got something on their computer, and they can, like you said, reach out, so to speak, and grab that information right off that chip. Boom, they got you, man.
See, now this is what's going to be interesting to me, and I don't know the law, but if you say the Target had a problem, and I think we got hacked at the post office.
Yeah, a couple times, I think, in the last couple of years.
If say that thing's transmitting, just like what Jimmy's talking about with this card, if you go on the internet and you physically attack a website to get passwords and all this information and stuff. Okay, I can see where that's a cyber crime.
Yeah.
But if you have this little device in your purse, and I don't know, because that would be radio waves, I guess.
However that stuff transmits out.
I mean, you would. I wonder how that works out as far as. I mean, if you use it. I mean, if you say let me ask it this way: if you gain access, if you record that information, is that illegal, or is it illegal when you use it?
You're purposely using technology, cyber technology, to gain access to fraudulently. You're fraudulently trying to get people's information.
Yeah, and it kind
which is the crime, not so much as
and it kind of boils down to this: if I'm sitting in there and I'm taking something from you without asking you, then that should be that's a crime, right? I'm taking your stuff and you don't know it. That's
and
a
you're
crime.
doing it on purpose. It's not like it's an accident.
Yeah, they're in there for.
So I mean, that was my question. So say when it comes to airwaves, say if you're broadcasting on a CB rant or a band, say you're talking to Todd, and so how.
Over.
And I'm recording it, and I record this conversation. I think that actually is illegal because I think anything you do when you record.
Well, it depends. Like if it's a closed conversation, at least one of the parties have to know that it's being recorded, or it's illegal. But like when you're talking about, you're going over the radio waves, you're going over a system that you expect no privacy.
Right. So say when I'm using a credit card, I expect that to be a one-on-one transaction.
Yeah, you expect that to be private. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So when somebody takes that, they're like intruding because they have nothing to do. There's no reason for them to even be in that.
There's no expectation of privacy with like radio waves. You know what I mean?
And even if you do record a conversation, like you and I are on the phone, and I record a conversation to incriminate you, I really couldn't use it. I couldn't use that like in a court, right? Because the other party, being Chuck, wouldn't. If I notified you, I said, Chuck, this is being recorded, right? And then we could use that in court. But if I didn't tell you,
it depends.
I don't know.
If one person has to know, like if you two are talking and you're recording him, as long as you know that you're recording.
Oh, that's confusing.
So let's put it this way: if Todd and I are having a conversation, say we're married. Okay, we'll just say that.
One day we can be now.
We'll just say that. And I'm recording him about whatever it is. As long as I know I'm doing it, I'm fine. However, if that we're having the same conversation and we're not married, but we're doing a drug deal and say like some kind of government surveillance is going on, then there has to be a warrant there to intrude on our conversation.
Not necessarily. I mean, as long as like, I can't give out too much here. Let's see, like say I'm the law enforcement guy and you're the snitch and Todd's the drug dealer.
Right.
As long as I know and you know it's being recorded, that's all that matters.
Oh.
So as long as one it goes back to
if you
where
have the equipment and you know it's being recorded.
Right.
I couldn't put equipment on you and say,
without anybody knowing, the party knowing,
and just say go talk to him and not without you not knowing that. It's being
right.
recorded.
I mean, that's what I mean. Is that the people that are talking, the one-on-one conversation, the one person has to know. You can't have two people talking and then somebody that's third party that has nothing to do with that conversation, unless you have like a court warrant or something, or a court order or something like that. Yeah, it's very interesting.
A what? A court what?
A court order, a court warrant. Well, you have a warrant. I don't know what, not a warrant, but what do they call that? What do they call that?
Do you have a warrant? You can't come in here unless you have a warrant.
It's a
search warrant, right? Wouldn't that
would it be a search warrant if you were going to record somebody?
Oh well,
what is that called? I don't even know what the hell they call it.
Well, they couldn't come in your house and check all your
Listen,
stuff.
Jimmy went to law school for all this stuff. That's why we talked to him for about all this stuff, because we don't know nothing. I mean, Jimmy works in a coal mine somewhere, and the only thing he knows is that he's out of work right now. So I mean, you know, that's that. But that's very interesting. So the important part is, if you're driving a new car, you need to be paying attention to emails and things like that from your car manufacturer, because they have firmware updates to kind of block all this stuff, just like they do with the computers. One thing that's very irritating is how many times have you turned your computer off and you're like, oh, great, I have 67 security updates that I'm going to have to sit here and wait for.
Listen, concerning your cars, the FBI suggests that you stay on guard. Nevertheless, try to keep the car safe. It recommends taking the following precautions. There's only a couple of them. I'll just read them real quick. Try to stay aware of the latest recall notices affecting your car. Okay. Ensure the vehicle software is up to date. And again, we weren't sure how that.
Yeah.
Some people might
how that
know
works.
Be careful when making any modifications to your car's software. Exercise discretion when connecting third-party devices like smartphones or tablets to your car. And last but not least, stay in control on who has physical access to your vehicle. Those are some FBI suggestions.
So I wonder if that would mean, like, if you're getting your car worked on, are you covered if you go to an authorized dealer?
Ooh, stay in control.
You know what I'm saying?
Stay in control of who has physical access.
This is something else, too, as I was reading about this. We'll just keep this real quick. When it comes to buying a new car and you buy like a warranty, you have a warranty, like your bumper-to-bumper warranty, your manufacturer's warranty, and then sometimes you buy an extended warranty, right?
Yeah.
Well, you really have to read the fine print in this stuff, because they might say with oil changes, you can change the oil in your car wherever you want. But say if you own, and I know the one particular case that I read about this with Subaru, is that you can change the oil wherever you want, as long as you use the recommended weight and viscosity, and you also, when you change it, it has to be a Subaru filter.
Right.
It can't be one that fits. It has to be a Subaru filter. There was a guy, I think, where was that? Out in California, I was telling you about. They had a lawsuit.
About the windshield wipers.
He had a motor go out, a windshield motor go out. It had like 9,300 miles on the car, really early, right?
Yeah.
And so in the contract, it said that it was going to be bumper to bumper, whatever, as long as there was when the car needed serviced, it was literally like it came out of the factory. Well, he had a motor go out, so when he went back, they said, "Well, we can't fix this." It's like, what are you talking about?
9,300 miles. I got a lot of warranty.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, it's 9,300.
Yeah.
Well, why can't you fix it? He goes, because you have different windshield wipers on your car.
They didn't have the manufactured.
It didn't have the
windshield
manufactured windshield wipers on your
Because
car.
it costs like $500 a piece.
Yeah,
And you know what?
probably,
It's starting to. It makes me think when you add stuff to your car. I mean, it's like what and I don't know. I don't want to insinuate that they're dirty like that. But I know marketing is marketing, right? So when you have like a 10-100, bumper to bumper. well, what's the fine print? Because there's fine print. You just can't go in there and say, well, I'm just going to go tear the shit out of this car and they're going to pay for it for me. Because they're not going to do that. There has to be something in there.
You better take that thing back for every single solitary service that's recommended for that car. They're probably not going to cover it.
If
you're like, what?
Volkswagen. I know Volkswagen's really bad about service interchanges or whatever. Is that they have a very good warranty, but if you want to keep that warranty every so many miles, you have to take it to an authorized Volkswagen dealer, and they have to do their service and their checks or whatever. And sometimes it might be nothing. It might cost you $1,500, and if you don't spend that, then you lose your warranty. Whatever that might be. It might be for a $5 part as far as I know.
The moral of the story is...
Save your old parts and put them on before you go.
The moral of the story
read
is...
the fine print.
Read the fine print because everybody's out to screw you. I guess. I don't know. Anyway, once again, we want to thank... let's
do the cicada sound.
Yeah, we need to talk about that real quick. The cicadas, they're coming out. Not to be confused with John Cicada. He is a pretty cool singer. The Cicadas are coming out, as you know. It's been 17 years since 1999. The last time we saw them here in the state that we're living in, West Virginia. These things are a nuisance. These things, oh my goodness!
And you take the sound here and multiply it by about 10 million.
But the amazing thing about the cicada, when they start making those love sounds, when they start flapping them wings together and stuff, it's all one. It's all rhythm. They're all in rhythm. It's not like it's a constant. It's not like it's pandemonium. They're like in a constant rhythm, which I'll go right to sleep.
That's a mating call, by the way. And there's a very distinct difference between the male and the female. I did learn that.
Yeah, because one has a penis or what?
How crappy of a life would that be, where you live underground, sleeping for 17 years, you come out, you have sex, and then you die, or you go back in the ground, or you plant eggs and die.
So basically, the male comes out. The both of them come out. They both end up dying anyway, except the male or the female lives about 5 more days just to burrow herself into the tree roots again to lay her eggs, and then she's dead too.
What's the point of that? You know what I mean?
Mother
Nature, man.
Now, I know the birds have a really good feast, because I remember seeing them, man. They'd be flying through the sky, and birds would be like flying around like it's Alfred Hitchcock.
Listen, man. Them things, I tell you what, when they hit, it's been a long time. They will be in such swarms, and they'll be on tree. They're in cicadas. They are the most disgusting looking things you ever want to see in the first place.
They really are, and they're big too, man. They're about as long as your
my
thumb,
goodness
man.
Gracious!
They fly around.
And if you have, if you have a new house and you're planning on planting trees or anything like that, if you have some new trees, especially, if you have new trees, make sure you cover them things up with some, some kind of cloth or something or rather. Or I will just wait. Just don't do it this year.
When driving the car, man, it's just like pop.
It's just like hitting driving through a hailstorm.
How many years? Did we
17.
Every 17
Every
years,
seven-
at
well,
least here, right?
Some are 13,
the
but
monster,
here it's 17.
You have 13 and you have a 17. We had them a few years ago, but it wasn't the big. I think they call it brood or broad or whatever. They have they'll come out, but this is going to be the big one. This is going to be where they're all over every single tree, and you won't even see the trunk of it. It'll be so disgusted, and those things are going. You just won't. It'll be nothing but cicadas. And they live in the roots. It's amazing.
They're there right now, and they have been for the last 17 years.
And they've just been planting there, and they just come out when the temperature is 68 degrees in the soil, and they come out. Hopefully they eat ants. I would love to see them eat some ants, because I'm going to have an ant problem here in probably about 4 weeks anyhow.
You see those cool shells like stuck to the side of trees and
That's
shit
what I mean.
like
They're all
that.
hollow. It's like
Yeah,
a
it's
skin
like
snake.
They crawl out. We're watching
You
this
ever
right now.
dig under trees and stuff, and you could see them? You see their larvae under there. I always try and kill as many as I can.
And they kind of, then they come. It's weird how they kind of come out of that shell. They like crack themselves out of the back of that
And
shell.
the amazing thing is
Look at all of them.
the thousands. I mean, they're living there right now. They've been there for the last 17 years. Thousands, if not billions of them, just everywhere.
Listen,
like
we're watching
cockroaches,
videos right
man.
now of these things, and look at them just coming out. Look how
Oh my goodness,
they're
dude.
disgusting.
That's
They're under your feet and they're crunching. That's disgusting.
It's like giant roaches.
Hey, we're going to have to do a pretty good podcast concerning that.
Return of the
It'll be fun
cicadas.
as hell.
They're coming this May. They're coming to a forest this fall.
Anyway, no, hell no. It's
Or
gonna
this
be-
May,
no,
this spring.
Yeah, here in about let's see, we're in
About
the
a
last
month,
week of
maybe?
March, so say about 6 weeks, 5 weeks or so.
The good thing is they can't bite you, they can't sting you, so they're not going to hurt you.
Oh no, they're just annoying. They're
disgusting.
disgusting.
They're just a nuisance. So just
They look like big cockroaches.
Yeah.
they do climb though. They're good climbers.
Listen, man,
Until
those
they
things
get
are
their
awesome.
wings.
I can't wait to knock them out of the sky. I'm going to eat them. I'm going to get. I tell you what, I'm going to get some. I'm going to get some provolone cheese from the Kroger's. I'm going to get some saltine crackers and Tabasco, and I'm going to make myself some cicada sandwiches.
You're disgusting. You could dip those like little chicken fingers.
Oh man, I'll put those things on nacho cheese and tear them up.
Oh,
And listen, if people eat crawdads, why wouldn't they eat cicadas? Look at them go, boy.
They're coming out of their shells.
Listen, only thing I can tell you is
Look at this. Whoa, I'm going to fall backwards.
where's Godzilla at? Because that looks like Mothra.
I know, right?
Those two little the twins. That's fantastic, Jimmy. The two little twins there on that with Mothra and Godzilla. Anyway, hey, listen, once again, we want to thank you for listening to Rogan Radio. In a couple of weeks here, we're going to have a big contest. If you own a Rogan Radio t-shirt, you can only get those through KDS Permanent Signs and more. We have all the links and stuff for all that. If you have any questions for that, go ahead and give us a text at 681-222-ROGN. Otherwise, I don't even know what's coming up, man. We have
You're kind of dry right now for upcoming
no,
events.
I just have so much stuff on my mind.
Well, we got the Duggar
the
thing
Duggar
coming up in
dance,
May, so we
or
can talk about that next
We
week.
have Duggar Dance coming up. I saw listen, we don't necessarily have it. Where we can talk about it. I'm going to get in contact with the Duggars so we can make it official that we can talk about it. So that'll be pretty awesome.
We're planning on having him on the podcast, right?
Well, I hope so. We're
Okay.
working on that. We're working on
You
that.
need to call
If we
that
can
guy.
if we can get that. Once again, something else. If you live in the north central West Virginia area, make sure you Google yourself Sagebrush Roundup. That thing is fantastic up there. They have the West Virginia Music Hall of Fame up there. Never knew that was up there. It's almost, I don't want to say it's not the Grand Ole Opry, it's not the Wheeling Jamboree, but it could be. It literally could be, and we have some ideas maybe for that, and maybe we're getting ahead of ourselves and all that. But man, that would be fantastic to hear that thing live over the internet every Saturday night. And that would be, if you do anything live over the internet or anything over the airwaves, you're going to get people there.
Mhm. Well,
So
maybe we need to plug them.
yeah. I mean, you know what, man? You got David D up there. That's all you need. That guy's a stud, boy.
Yeah, he really is, man. That guy rock and rolls. That guy gets into
Yeah,
it. He
he's
is
pretty good.
intense.
No,
That
he's
guy's
he's.
intense.
Let me tell you something about David. He's an entertainer, and he's good.
Yeah.
He's an entertainer. But anyway, we're going to call it a shot. Jimmy and Todd they have to go once again for a couple more weeks. They have to get the hell out of here so they can go watch The Walking
It's
Dead.
already late.
Sorry.
9:30. Come on, we got
Jesus,
rock this
please,
mother
please.
up.
Watch the
Go ahead and
replay.
check us out on Google Plus, on Twitter, on the YouTube. We'll have those those videos up on YouTube here in a couple days. Tomorrow in the morning. Well, if you're listening to this, obviously you already know it. You can check us out on SoundCloud, iTunes, and Stitcher. Still working on the what the hell's the name of the other one? I've already forgot it.
Oh, Jimmy Christian said it. What was it?
Not Spotify. No,
Spotify.
Spotify. We're on Spotify. We're on Pandora. It's the TuneIn Radio.
Tune in.
We're having so many
tune in.
problems with TuneIn. Not really sure why.
We're not-
Tune out's all I can tell you.
Yeah, tune out to tune in.
In the meantime,
Tune
until
out.
next week at, you know what, once again, oh, yeah, by the way, once again, we want to remind you, we didn't do a mystery word. I want to remind you about that. However, we want to remind you there's going to be, from now on, there's going to be 2 podcasts coming out every week. One's going to be the social hour. One's going to be the actual podcast. So when you see this, when you come up, no matter where if you're listening to iTunes or SoundCloud or wherever, you're going to see one that says, like this week will be episode 22 or 21. Hell, I can't remember where we even are now. You will see the social hour, that's 1, and then you'll see the actual podcast, that's 2. So every week there's going to be 2 of them now. So that'll give you that much more enjoyment. Anyway, Jimmy, who gave the mystery word last year?
Last
week.
I think I did.
Yeah, it was Grassy Knoll.
No, was that you?
Yeah, it was me.
Jimmy last week.
All right. Okay, this week's mystery word. We need to get somebody on here every week to give us a mystery word. In the meantime, though, this week's mystery word given to us by Todd Earl Beck is
Cicada.
Cicada.
Or cicadas.
C-I-C-A-D-A-S.
Cause cicadas.
And if you go ahead and hit us with that mystery word, we'll send you a Rogan Radio decal. Once again, the mystery word is cicada.
Cicada.
We're gonna hate them things here before too long.
We're going to ask you
man.
that.
I'm
17 more
dreading
years we'll ask you that question.
That's
Exactly.
right. That's right. In the meantime, hey, listen, you have a great week. We'll see you next week, next Sunday, or next Monday, or next Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, whenever you listen to Rogan Radio.